Welcome to the Basketball Diary. We're a few days away from Elite 24. We are at the Madison Square Boys and Girls Club.
Madison Square Boys and Girls, Navy Yard Clubhouse, downtown in Brooklyn, New York.
I'm here joined by Rickey Rivers.
Yes, I'm in.
Funsport CEO, the boss.
Yes, indeed.
We got some special today to talk about. First off, we're going to talk a little bit about the middle school event that's happening at Elite 24 right before the main event, and then we're going to talk a little bit about his event that he has on during the whole entire year. And don't mind the background noise. We're having a barbecue in the back. We got 100 kids waiting to barge into the gym.
Yep.
So, you know, it is what it is.
Yes,
if you can't handle it, get your ass out the kitchen.
That's what you're going to find here at the Navy Yard Boys and Girls Club, man. A lot of kids, a lot of fun, a lot of excitement. That's part of what I produce here.
Let's get to the real story right now. We got you doing the Under Armour Next Rising Star.
Yep, UA Next Game is what they ran in, UA Next Game.
And that's the middle school one.
Yep.
You're doing the rosters.
Yep.
Can you tell me a little bit about who's in, who's the upcoming guys? Because you got a lot of players that have been playing through your event, Funsport, throughout the whole entire years.
Right.
You know, big names, Briscoe, Whitehead.
A lot of those kids come through my program.
Just
Whitehead, Briscoe, Malachi, Richardson. There's so many of the kids that you see at the beginning stages. That's what Funsport is able to do, is kind of get these young kids at the beginning stages before their high school career, basically basketball career, starts to skyrocket. And you can see just look at Isaiah Briscoe, man. I remember just being in the gym with him when he was young. He and I were just talking, asking me for socks and kind of asking me, just having fun, just be goofing around as a kid. And now to see how his career has taken off and how much has happened to him, I just feel blessed to kind of be connected with these kids at an early age.
So who do we have for the Rising Star game?
Yeah, you know, the UA Next Game, just to get a little history, this is the first time that they're actually going to do it with, at Under Armour before the Elite 24. This is something that they want to pay attention to in the middle school. It's probably the reason why that they have me under their umbrella. So this Rising Star game should be pretty impressive. There's a bunch of kids that I've been able to secure. Two in particular I had that should have been, you look at Scotty Lewis out in New Jersey. Scotty Lewis is one of the top guards in the country right now.
Really?
You look at most of the rankings, he's in top 5 in everybody's list. Scotty Lewis will be in attendance, but he will not be able to play because he's injured.
Okay.
So he will be there on site support. The next guy you got top 5, you could look at him, he's number 1, number 2 on people's list was Wendell Moore. Wendell Moore out of North Carolina plays with CP3. Committed to the event. The only situation right now, and I use those two names, is Wendell Moore was committed to coming. We just got to work on the travel and accommodations. So he will be a surprise entering that park. I shouldn't say surprise now because I put his name out there, but he would be he would definitely be a huge lift to this event if he's able to attend, if we're able to kind of massage and work these things out. But if you want to go through some of the list of the names that you will definitely see, look at Cole Anthony. Cole Anthony is a kid, you know, rising star in New York, one of the top players in New York, Greg Anthony's son. We got to get in touch with Greg to kind of get him off vacation kind of early, because he's not scheduled to be back in New York until Monday. So we're trying to get Greg Anthony to kind of break the vacation plans a couple of days early.
He's coming back on Monday after the
event. 24. He's scheduled to be back on the 25th. We're trying to get him home a little early. Mom and I are talking, we're huddling with Greg, trying to see if we can get him here a little bit early. So I think Greg is on par with it. This, you know, that may be a last minute adjustment as well. It's just that, you know, you're dealing with these things, even though it's kids, there's a lot of moving and shaking, just as you would with the Elite 24 game to try to get kids committed. Team Rio actually is one of the top teams in the country as well. Rio is sponsored by Mario Chalmers. That team has unbelievable talent. You're going to probably see half of their kids in this game. Scotty Lewis plays on that team. You look at a kid, 6'4", 6'5" guard, and Mikael Jones, he's out of Philadelphia. He is definitely committed to the game. You'll see him. I think when you see him, you're going to see how you look at a kid, you'll be like, the future is bright for this kid. 6'4", 6'5", 2 guard, could play above the rim, shoot the shot from, got some range on the shot already. You're going to be impressed. I think what will happen is, and sometimes what happens around the game when we watch these kids, is you almost get in awe. You're like, is this kid really a 7th grader? Is this kid really an 8th grader? And you start to think, nah, the kid has to be older because he's 6'4", 6'5". He's playing like a high school player ready right now. You start to think that they're beyond their skills. So you're going to see him out there. You're going to see a kid named Tariq Ingram from out of Delaware who plays for Team Rio. He's about 6'7". got post skills, good size, good presence. And he looks like he could play in any high school team right now when you look at him. When you look at local talent, I mean, a kid like DeJuan Piper, who's pretty impressive. He's from Harlem. Can play, you know, unselfish guard, does the little things out there on the court, but very unselfish, capable of taking over a game, but he looks to share the ball. And there's so many. I like Ryan Myers out of Brooklyn, left-handed kid, younger brother of Wesley Myers, who started at Boys and Girls High School. So Ryan Myers is that kid that's coming up out of his brother's shadows and ready to start emerging and establishing himself. He's going to play in the game. I got a kid coming from Boston. Talk about DeAndre Dominguez. Played football a lot. Now starting to fill out his basketball talents. He's about 6'5". His passion was football, but over the past year or so, he started to fall in love with basketball, and quickly he started to blossom. And the one thing I like, I think the one intangible about these basketball players, when you look at kids from outside of New York, a lot of the top kids usually play 2 sports. See, here in New York, we don't have a lot of kids that play football. But when you look at some of the Philly kids and you look at some of these kids in Georgia and different places that's really starting to blossom, they play 2 sports. A lot of them play football as well. It's just a small intangible that you'll see with some of the kids today, that what makes them a little bit above some of the others is that ability to play 2 sports. So when I look at a kid like DeAndre Dominguez, who's 6'4", 6'5", shoots the ball, likes to shoot the ball from the perimeter, can shoot the 3, and football was one of his passions. You've got to think this kid may to turn out to be something.
Wow.
So that's some of the talent that you're going to see, man. And the one name I'll get you, and this guy comes with a lot of, you know, fun, fanfare. His game, Gerald Mungo. We call him Wordy.
What state is he from?
He's from D.C.
Okay.
So when you look at these 2 kids that come from D.C., actually he's from Baltimore. Gerald Mungo's from Baltimore, and Sharif Kenny's from D.C. Now, Sharif Kenny may be one of the highlight kids that actually get on the court. Sharif Kenny's top 10 in just about everybody's list as well. Left-handed kid, he's about 6'4", wing player out of D.C., braids, can really make it happen with the left. Really make it happen. So,
you might not know these guys because they're not in high school yet, but Rickey
these are
all
7th and 8th graders, and I'm not surprised. And trust me, when these kids get on the floor, you'll be like, okay, these kids have some talent. Now, what you may not see as composed to the Elite 24, you may not see alley-oops and people dunking.
Right.
You might, if you get lucky, if you get a few of them playing above the rim, because they're still growing. But what you need to do when you tune into a game like this, you want to hone in on potential. You want to see kids that have their bodies yet developed. You could see the potential in a lot of these. And that's one of the things that I do at my level, is be able to look at 7th and 8th graders and kind of hone in on potential and who may be able to fill out. Wasn't wrong about Isaiah Whitehead nor Isaiah Briscoe, so I know a little bit about it.
You also have some of the championship games as well around on that same day.
Yeah.
Like in the morning.
Morning shift. So yeah, it's good, man. I mean, I run Tillery Park here downtown.
That's right.
Brooklyn, blocks from here. So we have a 9 and under, 11 and under, 13 and under, and 15 and under division. Now, a lot of the kids that you see playing in this game may do double duty. They may be out there playing for their teams in a championship game.
So they're going to be on. The game starts around
10 a.m.
10 a.m., right?
Your 9 and under championship starts at 10 a.m. 11 and under starts at 11:45.
At Pier 2.
At Pier 2. Then you got your 13 and under at I believe it's 11:45, and then the 15 and under at 12:45. So it should be a fun day for basketball. I think Under Armour is going to have an excellent celebration out there at Brooklyn Pier 2, much like a little bit more than what we did last year. If you remember last year in Dumbo, I think it was a great event. I was able to secure Pearl Washington and Lloyd Daniels, I think, who complimented the event. Great day there at Dumbo, and I think what we've done with Under Armour, the brand, is added some new components to it, put my championships on the court, added this UA Next Game, and I think it's just a great celebration of youth basketball right here in Brooklyn, New York, and Under Armour is doing a great job, man. It's phenomenal what the things that they're doing when you look at what happened with the UA Association and Stephen Curry camp. So the properties are growing.
It's going to be, so these kids, championship game, normally it would be at Tillery Park.
It'll only be at
but they're getting the opportunity to play at Pier 2 before the Elite 24 guys get to play their game.
Yeah, and if you follow Funsport, what I always try to do is I always try to make my championship an event. I always try to make my championship something to build up to and kids to look forward to. I like to leave kids with a lasting memory. So my middle school tournament, we'll talk about my junior pros, the championship games at the Barclays Center. You don't get much better than that. You play right after the pros. Usually when I have these high school games, I try to put it into space. I try to create some atmosphere, whether bringing somebody else in to entertain. I try to create that whole championship experience as something that the kid could walk away from. Is like, wow, this was different. And I think that's what will happen here at the Under Armour Elite 24 event.
We finished covering the meat of the story that we have to talk about, the UA Next Rising Star. Let's talk about a little bit about
5 o'clock, Saturday, August 23rd, that UA Next Game. But prior to that, for those who want to get there early, who don't want to have to deal with the lines, that's the reason, that's the benefit of coming to my event.
Got to get there early. Fire marshal will not let
last
you in.
Last year, there was a load of people who didn't attend the event. They were left outside. So this is a perfect caveat to kind of get into the event, to kind of make sure that you're there supporting it.
Now what I want to talk about is your event, Funsport.
Yes.
There's a lot going on, different varieties, indoor, outdoors, throughout the season, summertime, wintertime, in the Bahamas, in the district.
In Bermuda.
A little bit confusing, but to streamline certain things in terms of the scheduling, right now you have the high school stuff, correct?
Yeah,
on Tillery Park.
I have high school stuff that's going on as well. I have youth basketball stuff.
Yeah.
And you know, some people may know Rickey Rivers for running the Fireball back at Baruch College, where I ran my pro leagues and I did a lot of that pro stuff. I've kind of stepped aside from the pro stuff the past 3 or 4 years and really get focused on youth basketball. So my programs are growing. The middle school stuff, I think I have a strong niche in, and our high school stuff is starting to gain that momentum back that we lost after 5 years when Kimber Walker kind of left the program. So we've kind of getting our high school stuff back started. Our middle school stuff is kind of kickstarting that whole thing, and I think, you know, I think in the next year or so, I think all these programs will hopefully be performing at premium level.
After the Tillery Park event, what's next for you?
My schedule gets crazy. I tell you what, just Rickey Rivers' schedule. So in September, I should be working on our high school tournament. It's our preseason high school tournament. I know I have Jefferson committed. I have high school construction committed. I have a few Catholic schools outside of the boroughs committed.
It's going to be at Thomas Jefferson High School in East New York.
Yeah, starting, I believe that's September 6th on the weekends. I'm also working with Anwar to do the same thing for girls. So we have some girls teams that will go in South Shore. So I'll be doing some dual stuff between South Shore and Jefferson, between boys and girls for the preseason for the month of September. And that quickly rolls into my middle school stuff. And my middle school, my junior pros, middle school basketball program is my biggest property.
And you get people from Jersey, Connecticut.
Jersey, DC, Connecticut, Albany. I think I've been able to kind of reach teams from DC all the way up to Albany and reach the elite teams.
The Northeast, they come in here, they play that tournament over the weekends.
Yeah, what we do is when in October, for the month of October, there's a preseason tournament which allows us to screen and evaluate talent. So I may bring in about 40 to 60 teams that I'll look at in that preseason portion of it. Typically, we went with 24. This year, I think we're going to graduate and take the top 36. And that'll go into this invitational tournament that we typically held at Thomas Jefferson High School starting in November. So the first week in November, we start our regular season tournament that we invite 24 or the 36 of the best teams we've seen in the preseason and make it a very competitive schedule. And we put that together for the best middle school kids to perform for these high school coaches and kind of showcase them for high school coaches. I mean, there's a lot of kids that have gotten opportunities in our program, been changing from maybe from a local public school to getting in a high impact type of program. We've seen that reach through our program where coaches were able to come in and see talent that they probably couldn't necessarily see and make changes, choices.
And then the championship game is going to be
at the Barclays Center. I love that part, man. I love the whole part of working on that part, working with the Brooklyn Nets. As you can see, I've designed my place where I work at for my favorite team. Not much no New York Knicks, you heard? No, that's just a quick stab. I love my guy, Dad Gladstone, and all those guys down there. But this is where I'm from. I'm right here in Brooklyn. Brooklyn Nets we have a professional organization here in Brooklyn, and they've been very supportive of the work that I'm doing here through Funsport and through the Boys and Girls Club.
And then you have some, just making a little short coverage, you have some in the district, you have some in Bahamas.
Actually, Bermuda.
Bermuda, excuse me. And then you have it in Atlanta.
Yeah.
These are
I've done
the web of Rickey Rivers.
Yeah, I've done an event in Dallas for Final Four, so there's definitely a pull to kind of pull me back to Dallas. I was actually supposed to do an event in Dallas for Labor Day weekend, which we had to step back on. But I will, while we have, this is something that we haven't discussed, but outside of the whole basketball stuff and Funsport, I've started a new organization, and I'm preparing this new organization. The launch is going to be September 27th, is Beyond the Game. Okay. And to talk about Beyond the Game is something that I'm far more passionate about than some of the other things I'm doing. And Beyond the Game basically is an organization, nonprofit organization that myself, I've added Rudy King along with me, is basically going to look at some of the issues that our athletes face. And that we can sit here and we've talked in various circles about why is New York this, why is New York that, what are some of the problems that we have in. Beyond the Game, I hope, is that organization that focuses on all those issues that happen with kids beyond the game, whether it be reclassification, whether it be help with regents, whether it be help with SATs, whether it be help with things at home, social issues that they may go through,
right.
whether it be help with support through gang violence and different things like that. Beyond the Game wants to be a solution to the problem that we think closely in this market that we have, looking at some of those issues and not just discussing them, but really addressing them. So this organization I'm doing, Beyond the Game, is going to have a launch on September 27th. It's going to be filled with workshops, and the kids are going to then tell us where we should start. Because when you think of some of the problems, there's a number of ways we could think that we should start. I want to start where the kids want us to start, so I'm going to have a bunch of middle school kids in the building. And you know that there's all kind of NCAA rule changes and things. The kids and parents are not always aware of that, so Beyond the Game wants to take the lead and being the resource for those type of things. Is just being the resource for change in New York City. I've been in so many circles, I've had so many discussions about and opinions about what people think is wrong with New York City basketball in terms of where we were. When you compare a borough to a state, I think that's a big handicap as well. But our 5 boroughs did do a lot for basketball historically. And lately, people have seen a change in that. And there's a number of issues that we could point to with technology, different things, of how that changes. But I went Beyond the Game to kind of be on the front end of that change and that whole revolution in terms of getting things back to where we were. And I'm going to need support from a lot of people to do that, especially those who have an opinion about it. So I want to kind of I haven't talked to anyone about it. I'm talking to you about it first. I've talked to just a couple of people because I'm waiting for the launch of it. So in another month or so, I think that's going to hopefully that starts to impact the streets of New York.
Parents who want to sign up to your tournament event, they could find you.
They can find me really easy at Funsport NYC.
Face right here at Elite 24, at Pier 2. You can't miss them.
Yes.
Just tap them. What's your email?
Email is info@funsportinc.com, like Funsport Incorporated. So info@funsportinc. Social media, we have a very heavy presence at Funsport NYC, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. So we're there. We're very accessible to be reached. Sometimes I get reached a little bit too much, but I like it. I like the fact that we're putting programs out there that people feel that they could be impacted with. So that's part of what we do, man. I work here at the Boys and Girls Club. I coach, I play, I ref, I commentate, do whatever. Basketball is the passion, man.
Rickey Rivers, you can holler at him at Funsport CEO.
Yes.
All right?
You could do that.
Or you can see him next week
at the Elite 24. Please be there early. We start there at 10 o'clock a.m. Come see our championship games. They will be very entertaining. See the UA next game, and make sure we all front row for that Elite 24 game. I'm promising. Let me see. I'm not gonna promise. I'm gonna go on a wild guess. I got 3 of my guys that are alumni of the program. When you talk Tyus Battle, Donovan Mitchell, and you check Diallo, and what's my other guy that it's 3 guys that's definitely that came through the program. I'm thinking Donovan Mitchell is gonna be a surprise to you guys. Think of Donovan Mitchell. I think Louisville, Rick Pitino, going watching, saying, oh, I think we got a gem in Donovan Mitchell.
Peace.
All right, man.